I mean, yeah, sure. Put me on the spot, but all good. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm
Um,
doing great. How are you?
Good. I guess just to start things off here, what is this off season? I mean, we've been asking it to everybody. What has this off season been like for you, and just how things are totally different than how they usually are?
Well, look, it is what it is. So I think we've done the best that we can do with the situation that's going on. And what I mean is we've had great participation from our veterans in these online meetings. I've been very pleased with the interaction and just the one-on-one conversations with the guys, getting the feedback of how it's going. We're getting a lot of teaching time. We're watching a lot of tape. We're doing a lot of installations. And I just feel the only thing that's a little bit different is obviously we're not around each other. So I don't get the immediate feedback and interaction as you would get on a when you're with the players. But I feel everything else from the time that we've had to meet, the installation, the material, I feel pretty good about it. The real test will be when we all get back together to see how it worked. When we start camp and we're with the players to see how much the retention but as of right now, I feel very good about it.
Which I know your position group technique is very important. You talk about hand placement and footwork and everything. Has it been sort of, I guess, frustrating that you haven't been able to get that hands-on work so far?
Well, I love individual and practice. Like that's one of my favorite things, other than playing on Sunday with the guys. But I will say this: the meetings have been structured where the first part of the meeting has been more of the installation on like what we're doing. And the second part of the meeting, what we've done is we've taken film 17, 18, and 19, and we've watched certain fundamentals and techniques and really dissected how to do it on the film. So it's not just the installation part, but here's what we're doing, and then here's how to do it. And I feel doing it like that, it's been a good change of pace in the meeting, and we've really got to spend some time on what's really worked for us at the Saints at all positions. So that's been a kind of a cool, and then, we'll get feedback. I'll talk to the guys individually every once in a while. What'd you think about this meeting? So they're constantly giving me feedback of, maybe we can do this a little bit better, or I liked how you did this. Let's cover that again. So, look, I'm chomping at the bit to get back with these guys. I can't wait. Like I said, I love the individual part, but I do feel that we've got a lot accomplished, as much as we can, right now.
Coach, the NFC South has changed significantly this offseason, especially on the offensive side of the ball. What are your thoughts on the competition going into the season?
Look, it's the NFL, and any given week, yes, for any given week, any team can win. We've got some new players in the division that we'll have to prepare for. But to be honest with you, really the focus just been on us. It's just us getting better. I really haven't done a lot of reading about any other teams other than just the people that they have. But it's been about us getting better, us staying together, us just taking the next step as the Saints organization and our football team.
When you guys brought Davenport in, the talk about him was him being raw and having room for growth. 2 years into it now, how far down do you feel like you've gotten into that potential, and how much more room is there for him to keep getting better?
He's definitely got some room to get better, and it's there. The potential and the growth is there. I do think that he made a big step last season. I mean, there's some games where, man, he was playing lights out. I really feel really good about a few games where he took the next step. And talking to him, I think his confidence is better this offseason. Man, he's working hard. And I know he had a couple of injuries, but, man, he's put the work in. Every time I talk to him, he's saying all the right things. He's doing the right thing. So, look, it's year 3. Yep, we expect more from him, as we do with everybody else. So I'm excited to start working with Marcus. But there is some growth, and there's some things that we just got to do a little bit better, and we'll work on that.
So that injury hasn't held him back too much this offseason. He's getting in the work he needs to get.
Well, with the rehab, and obviously when you have an injury that, you're not training that part of the body as much as you can. So, but I do feel he's done the best that he can with his rehab and everything that I've been with the trainers that, the injury reports that we've been talking about is, look, he's busting his butt this offseason, and he's really putting the work in to come back in the best shape that he's ever been in.
Kind of a follow-up to that, Ryan, is Sheldon Rankins in a similar situation?
Yeah, I think Sheldon's same thing. He's the thing with Sheldon is he's had it before, so he's kind of known what to expect a little bit. So he's got a little bit of advantage with his injury. But again, talking to him, man, he's working hard. He feels great. I talked to him the other day. He feels really good mentally. He's in a really good place. And one of the things for when you're older in the system, he's heard all the same terminology now, and we've worked on a lot of the same things. So, it's going to be easier for him to come back and pick it up a little bit faster. So again, really excited for him to get back and work with him as well.
You kind of touched on Davenport, mentioning some of the areas. Is there like one specific thing that you've really kind of keyed in on? This is something that we're going to get you better at this year?
It's not just – I think there's a few things, that we could focus on. And some of the approaches that we take is let's get better at this in maybe practice 1, and then we'll get better at this in practice 2, and take that approach. And if we need to come back and maybe fix some pass rush or work on some pass rush or run fundamentals, things like that, then we will. There's a couple of things, but it's nothing that he can't do or obtain. Look, there's certain things that we just got to maybe drill a little bit. I got to help him more an individual. We got to work on a couple more things. But I do feel that he is as eager as possible to get back and get going. And that's exciting to me, man. He really wants to get better at these things that we got to get better at.
Ryan, what's it like when you're working with a guy like Cam Jordan, who's pretty much, dominated, and I don't know if he has much room for improvement, but I mean, what do you say to a guy like that?
Well, look, I love Cam. He is fun to be around. He's got a great personality. He's never had a bad day in his life. And that's one of the best things, man. He's always shows up. He's the same every day. So that's when you go into the meeting and what you're going to get from your players. And that's, to me, when I walk in and Cam's got a smile on his face and, it's the same Cam every day. I love that part of him. And then working with him, I mean, what a talent. I mean, the guy's, there's nothing he can't do, and he's shown that he can sack the quarterback. He can play the run. So it's really fun just to continue to work the fundamentals and technique with him, to try to raise his game a tick better. And we can get him a tick, and everybody gets just a little bit better. We'll be a better football team. And he takes it on himself to say, look, I can get better. And he'll tell you, yeah, there's some things I can get better at. And that's one of the things that excites me is there is a little bit left in there, but after the couple of 3 seasons he's had in a row, and it's just fun to be around at practice and the energy he brings and the leadership he brings. It makes coaching the guys a lot easier.
Last year, I talked to Cam kind of about sack dances. Apparently, he's even taking it upon himself to kind of police the guys and make sure they're not burning too much energy. Is that one of those examples you're talking about?
Well, look, if we can get one, we can get 2, right? So let's not burn ourselves out on just getting one. So that's kind of but he's good. He's good with that. I think that's a little bit, he just has fun with the guys. And that's, look, we want to have fun too when we're playing ball. So that's just kind of one of the things that they give each other a hard time about. But listen, I like those conversations now. Let's keep having them. Let's keep raising those numbers and talking about, are we going to dance or are we not going to dance? So those are good problems to have.
This team is, in the past few seasons, always seemed to have found some guys that have been contributors on the D-line that are undrafted. So wanted to ask you about Malcolm Roach, a guy out of Texas. What's something that you guys liked about him, and a reason that you wanted to bring him in?
I think he fits what we do in terms of his ability very well. And that's kind of one of the things that when we look at these guys that we bring in is, all right, look, they're obviously they've had good college careers. And what do we do and how does it fit together? I think that he is extremely explosive. I think he's a smart player. I really like that about him. I think he's, his intelligence, he sees things when you watch his games at Texas. And I think he's an equally good pass rusher as a run defender. And that's, his game is not skewed one way or another. So when we can get a player like that, and look, he's close to home now. Like he's going to have a lot of motivation to make this football team. So that's another thing that's pretty cool. So I see some things there. I would have been able to tell you a lot more if we were practicing right now. But we've just been on these meetings. He's been great in the meetings. He's been asking the right questions. I really like what I see from him so far and what I've seen on tape. He's just another guy that, look, we'll know more about, after 2 weeks in camp. But I do think we got the right guy here.
Of that same vein, Shai Tuttle was in a very similar position last year, coming in undrafted, and then kind of made a name for himself and kind of a cult hero for what he did to Matt Ryan. But what's the vision, I guess, for him moving forward, and what you've seen from him this offseason?
Well, look, I think Shai's had a good offseason. I think he's really working. I would like to see him take the next step in his game, be a little bit more aware, be a little bit quicker to see blocks, see angles of departure, be just one step faster than he was last year two. Just the maturing of a player, and that's in all aspects. That's in the run and as a pass rusher. And I think you'll see that. I think, he got some confidence now, what he did towards the end of the year, and he got better. It seemed like he got better every single week. And if we can just take where he was at the end and just work on that, just one tick better, I think he'll have another solid season for us.
Ryan, are you anticipating getting to work with Zach Vaughn at edge at all? Training camp comes around and all that.
I'm sure there'll be some pass rush things. I mean, the guy's a good pass rusher. I mean, you can't deny that. Like he's had good career as a pass rusher. So I think there'll be some things when, we'll bring him down to when we pass rush against the offensive line, maybe some third down stuff. So we'll put him in some of those situations. Last year we played a lot of 3 down, 2 linebackers up in tight on those guards. And I think he'll have some good ability when you watch him. I mean, that he'll be able to do a good job in that. So, we'll move him around and find the right fit for that player. But I'm glad we drafted him. I think that was a heck of a pick, and I'm excited to see him out there running around. And then when we do have that opportunity, really put him in the right spot for our defense. I think he can do some things that, we can move him over a guard, a tackle, move him around a little bit to have some success.
Coach, you mentioned that you missed the personal interaction. But when was the last time you've been able to spend this much quality time at home? And have you kind of developed like a daily routine?
Yeah, look, the daily routine. So I've got a son here that's going to be a year this month, and he's an early riser. So that's always fun when he's getting up. But look, I'm going to say this. It's been very good. My morning is spent the first half hour with him and kind of getting him going breakfast. And then I get into the office, and it's preparing for the meetings, kind of getting our cut-ups set. Look, the installation, working with Brian Young, who's done a great job with our installation, and he does a really good job kind of putting it together, and we both meet with the guys. And then, we'll meet with the players at night. So say 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm in the office till preparing for the meeting till 9, and we'll meet with the guys for an hour 15, which has been really good. So it's been all football. And then Coach Allen will get on we'll have a defensive staff meeting, and there'll be some time in there. And then at the end of the day, it's always, going back and watching our season, pulling out some things that we did well and the things that we need to work on, and putting those in a couple of cut-ups for the guys so they can see, look, and this is what we did good, and then here's a couple of things that we need to get better at. And then, look, the nice thing is I'm having lunch with the family, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever that is. And then, at the end of the day, we're here. So if we get done and I'm ahead, then, I'm with my family and with my kids, so that it's been really cool in that aspect. Where I have missed, like you said, the interaction with the players, being at the office, being with the guys on the field. So look, there's some give and take with it. I've definitely seen this as a positive, at least for my family, in terms of a lot of family time together. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you every day was a utopia. We're around each other all the time, and you guys know how that. I see some smiles out there, but look, I feel closer, and I appreciate the time that Coach Payton has given us with our families, and really it's been pretty awesome with that. And I'll tell you, just talking to some of the players who have kids, and they'll say, they're around their kids all the time and every day, and which you don't always get to do that in what we do. So just trying to take advantage of those times, because look, I'm sure next year we'll get back to the same schedule and be back in the office and doing those things. So, but that's been pretty much the routine. I've enjoyed the routine. I've spent, I feel like we've got some really quality time with the players on these meetings. I really do. I feel really good about where we're at, and the interaction that I've got from them the feedback has been really good. So, overall, I think and I said at the very beginning, I think we've made the best that we can out of this time, personal, family, and also our group and our team.
Ryan, do you think the Saints have sort of an advantage just because of the number of veterans on this team and coaching staff that's pretty much intact from a season ago? Does that help you all out in a situation like this?
I think it does until we start playing games. And then once it's a live bullet, all that stuff kind of goes out the window, and now we got to win our one-on-one matchups. We got to execute. Fundamentals and technique come into play. So the off season, I would say, I'm sure we're ahead of teams that maybe got a new coaching staff and those things. Maybe some new players, a new quarterback, or new positions, people at positions. But so I feel like when you look at our group, we've got a lot of guys back. A couple additions, which I'm excited about. But then once we start the season, now it's about playing football. It's about fundamentals, execution, technique, and the things that you got to do to win football games in this league. And they're trying to win as bad as we are. So that's when that's when I think the advantage kind of, all right, we've been there before, but man, we got to execute
now. You guys have been pretty much able to keep this defensive line, minus the injuries, pretty stable these last couple of years. How much has that helped you this offseason?
It's been tremendous. I'll tell you, like we'll say, we'll say a term, or we have a glossary of terms, and just going through those terms with the guys, man, they've heard that before. It's not just new, just for a few guys, so the communicate, we're all talking the same language. The communication is a lot better, so when we're on these meetings and we'll say, a type of technique or what we're supposed to do defensively, I think the guys pick it up a lot faster, and we're moving rather quickly through the installation. And some of these guys, we're going on, 4 years together now. So that's a lot of football, a lot of meetings, a lot of time. So I think that's helped us.
And specifically, one guy that's been here has made a lot of strides is David Onyama. I was wondering if you could just comment on how far he's come from when you first got to work with him.
Love him. I love the guy. He's a tireless worker. I think that's why he's raised his level of play. He loves meetings. He loves practice. He's one of the first guys on the field every day. He's another guy like Cam, man. Who you're going to get every single day. Coming to the meetings, coming to the practice field. But he's a guy that I think, because he loves the game so much, he loves individual and practice, and he just loves to get better. And that's what you're seeing, the progress of this player, of David. You know, he is really he's worked hard at it. He has worked really hard, and I'm very proud of where he was and where he is now. I mean, it's really cool to see the progress of this guy. And he still can get better. Like, that's the thing that's cool. Like, and I know he's going to work at it, you know? So, and look, that's the way it is with all the guys, but with David that you're asking, man, he is, it's really cool to see, you know, the process, you know, from day one to where he is today, and knowing where he still can go. Like, there's some things that we got to work with him and continue to get better, but very proud of him. Very, very proud.